We're going to be discussing Iba Alusi, Iba Mmuo. It's a recent phenomenon amongst the Igbo youth. Everybody wants to be part of a certain deity, but in actuality, it's actually a very dangerous thing to do, and it is not part of our cosmology, because originally, each of us, our lineage, we all have a certain ancestor that we basically ordained or consecrated as a deity. So we have things like Mmuo Ngwuru. So if we have all these aspects of our Izubezu, aspects of our spiritual and ancestral lineage, why then do we now want to basically be part of a deity in another community, solely because we've heard tales about how this particular deity is basically providing and financing the life of people that became part of it. Now, to me, basically, the concept of Iba Alusi is literally, it's just like, being engaging in one kind of a cult activity that is now being overshadowed by it is Alusi. And when you talk about Alusi, we understand that Alusi is one of the fundamental Igbo spirits that we have. So literally what it means that you're being part of a secret society, but we cover it up with Alusi. And sometimes some of these spirits that these dibias or maybe whomever uses are not even a familiar or an ancestral spirit. It is something that they basically got from one community or another, and they are basically now overshadowing it and now presented it and gave it one name. And without you even knowing, you're basically thinking that you're basically part of an Alusi, thinking that this Alusi is going to do so and so to you, not knowing that you're basically engaging in things that are very detrimental to your existence. So, Gini Buddha Alusi. Let's start with the interpretation of Alusi. Now, I wrote here that Ndi-Igbo perceives Alusi as a cosmic force that was instituted by our ancestor for a certain specific purpose. Now, the purpose of this deity could be for fertility, it could be for protection, and it can also be for provision. Now, in Ndi-Igbo, each of these deities that we instituted can exist at a communal level, hence Mmuo obodo, or it can also exist at a lineage level, which is Mmuo Ngwuru. The manifestation of these deities at different level, it is a different family level, which is if it exists in your father's house, it is now what we call Umunna. If it exists in your mother's community or your mother's lineage, it becomes Ikwu. So the various existence of deities at this various level, it's what makes up an individual's familiar spirit or Mmuo Ngwuru. Now, Ndi-Igbo are aware of the existence of this deity and their familiarity with every Igbo household. Now, deities in other communities are perceived to be outside of an individual's indigenous spirit. Hence, Iba Alusi is not encouraged within the Igbo spiritual system. Now, basically, originally, Ndi-Igbo, in the beginning of an individual's family lineage, a deity could be brought into that family, or to an extent, some of them are even ancestors of a particular family. Hence, that family basically adopts that particular deity as Mmuo or Mmuo Ngwuru. So we have all those things existing. So when people now go outside of their lineage, outside of their community to be part of this deity, it is not something that is encouraged, and it's not something that is done in the Igbo spiritual system. So because our ancestors had this provision for the existence of these deities in our families, in our lineage, in umunna, all these deities, there is no need for you to be part of another deity that is not even within your community, that does not even have any attraction to you, that does not even know you, does not even know your ancestors. Maybe you're from Anambra, you will now go to Enugu to go and look for a deity there to go and be part of that deity. Why? It is nonsense. It doesn't even make sense. And remember, even if that deity adopts you as its child, you would have to first of all acknowledge the deity in your father's house. Because as you have to be fine, you have to be beautiful in and out before you basically go into the streets to tell people of how beautiful you are. So Ginibu Iba Alusi. Iba Alusi is the process of performing rituals and rites in order to be claimed or adopted into a deity that is existing outside of an individual's umunna, outside of an individual's Ikwu, outside of an individual's obodo. These deities or these kinds of deities are foreign, even if they are within Igbo land or outside Igbo communities. Simple, an individual is not part of this deity. They don't know your lineage. They don't know, that deity does not know you. And before that deity would communicate or interact with you, it would also come and seek permission from those ones that are indigenous to you. Maka omeka ndị Igbo si eme, mmụọ chọrọ ịrụrụ gị ọrụ, it would first of all come into your family. It will first of all talk to your chi, your ezumezu, according to the Igbo perception. It will first of all talk to all those spirits that are indigenous to you before it considers performing or doing anything for you. So instead of you to rush to something that is outside, you would have to first of all talk to the one that is inside. Now, what this thing comes is that when this deity comes into and basically do one or two things for you, they would first of all seek permission. Now, if those ancestral deities, your Mmuo Ngwuru or Mmuo Ngwuru, are not even aware that you went to one deity to go and inform, they would say no, that this child of ours did not inform us. Your Ndi-Igbo, your chi, every forces that surround you will come and say, ha, this child did not tell us this thing. Why then are you here? No, we cannot allow this thing. Our people are not known for this thing. Maybe that day, particular deity could even be in an enmity with the one in your community, and you will now go outside and now go and bring in something. It's not going to cause a clash of interest. So this is why our ancestors did not even think or fathom the thought of Iba Alusi. It was not something that was done back in the day, but it's something that we can now see currently because of, people are now ashamed or of going to the ones in their father's house. And some of us don't even know that we have ancestral deities in our umunna or in our Ngwuru. Moving on. So say the purpose of Iba Alusi for some of these individuals is usually for financial gains and for protections that the chief priest of such deity may claim. It could be what is happening. It could not be it, but you don't know. It's what you were told. Answer. So you just basically do because you were told. So it serves. It also serves as an oath taking between the chief priest and the supplicant. Hence, it ensures that the supplicant keeps to his own end of the bargain. Now, for some people, they go to these deities not because that they want that deity to adopt a factory more, but they just want the dibia or the whoever akajofo to work for them. Now the dibia will say, before I do this for you, you are going to take an oath, so that if things becomes good for you, successful for you, and you refuse to come back and pay homage, this deity should do so and so to you. So you see why Ndi-Igbo, we don't joke with these kinds of things. Now the disadvantage of Iba Alusi, most times is that we capitalize on the advantage and we forget that these things also have their own disadvantage. So so na Iba Alusi. Now the first one here is that originally every one of us, we are part of a certain deity. We are part of an ancestral deity. If you reject it, it will reject you. But because we are part of a certain deity, and what brings us together, keeps us aligned with these deities, are things Ndi-Igbo refer to as nso, obodo, nso Alusi. Now, every lineage, every community, every lineage mainly so something that you don't do, something that you don't eat, or something that you just generally your family just say, oh no, now, because of this nso, you don't know the nso that is associated with that particular deity. And you might not even know the one that is associated with your own family. Now, you can go to a deity outside of your community in the name of Iba Alusi. Now, when you now start interacting with that particular deity, and that particular deity has a certain, maybe in your lineage, you people don't kill dogs. In that deity you've gone into to be a part of, is a deity that accepts dog as sacrifice, you will now see that there is a clash of interest. Because if you perform any sacrifice, including using a dog, you people, there is already a clash of interest. Go nso so obodo so it becomes a problem. It kind of breeds some sort of a clash of interest. It clashes. Now, there are other things apart from this nso that particular deity could be doing. That your deity, that the ones in your family abhors. it is going to cause clash, and it is going to bring what Ndi-Igbo refer to as nseke. As nseke means misfortunes, different kinds of problems coming here from left, right, and center. It comes and it affects you as an individual. You see, one of the disadvantages what our ancestors said Iba Alusi is a no-no. Now, the second thing here is that, like I said earlier, some of these Iba Alusi are done because a dibia or an akajofo wants to basically make sure that he or she is not cheated. So you now say, you have to take an oath for me. So we need to now understand that when you fail in fulfilling the promise that you've made, if this transaction was carried out in an ancestral deity that is related to you, indigenous to you, or familiar to you, those deities would not basically will not affect you, inflict you, or cause problems for you, that when it would not do that. It would, because you're the child, you're their child, they would gradually want to basically make you to see reasons why you should come and settle up this debt. But the ones outside of your community, they don't know you, and there are no ancestral links to you, which means that nothing is going to intercede on your behalf, which becomes a problem. Because maybe the ancestral deity in your house is angry that you're doing so and so, your excesses. Now, your chi, your ancestors, Ndi-Chi, Umwada, the women in your family, could intercede on your behalf. They would intercede on your behalf while still, appearing to you in your dreams and try to make you see reasons why you should go and fulfill that promise. But if you decide to be deaf ear, then especially when you now becomes unruly, some people will start running to the church because they feel these things are demonic, but it's just a simple transaction. So this is what's happening here. But if this one that is outside of a community, it does not care about you. So far the deadline has been met and it has fulfilled its own promise, and you don't fulfill yours, it is going to do what it wants to do to you. No spirit, no ancestors, no female ancestors would intercede on your behalf. So this is why our ancestors refuted anything Iba Alusi. They didn't even know what it is, if I may say. But because of how things are, people are now doing what they want to do. So I'm going to encourage you, if for any reason you want to have any business with any deity, look for the ones in your father's house and your mother's house. Ndi-Igbo, we call it Mmuo Ngwuru and Mmuo Ngwuru. These particular two deities are the ones you as an individual should make use of. If for any reason, it's not even for any reason, because as an Igbo person, you are supposed to do that. It's because of Christianity, especially. This is why people are not running away from places like that. But for any reason you want to interact with any deity at all, look for those ones that know you and are aware of your existence, and we're also part of your creation process and your reincarnation process. Now, all you just need to do is look for their Ihu on their shrines and basically perform rites or basically break kola nut with them, and try to avoid making unnecessary promises that you know that you cannot fulfill with deities. And as you do so, let your chi and your exumates, let them guide you properly. And until next time, if you like these videos and you want to basically follow up on these conversations, don't forget to subscribe. If you have any requests, any video requests, also leave them at the comment section. You can follow me up on all my social media, my Instagram and my Facebook and my TikTok. And until next time, Bekasi.